Now, research has indicated the restorative justice is effective at reducing violence in various instances by 75 to 90%, and increasing graduation rates and test scores arose. Now, this contrasts sharply with the US police expectations, where they predicted chaos, and the Truth and Reconciliation Commissions are an effort to pursue restorative justice on a large scale in society. Now, the two notable recent examples have been the Truth Commissions in South Africa after apartheid, and also in Peru after the kleptocracy of Alberto Fujimori. Like I said, I'm hoping the NLA and the assemblies can get together and discuss this on their calls, because I personally think full disclosure for full disclaimer outside of harming children is actually the way forward. The mess on this planet is far too great than to be dealt with legally. And with lawyers playing the ka-ching game of spinning things out, talking bullshit to collect more money, that is the last thing we need, and the funds can go to a better cause. You know, some of those that we suggested earlier to do with the banks, those that come forward, all of them on high-end salaries, can work off their involvement by being part of the clean-up within that organisation, with a much reduced salary of less than $100,000 a year. Lawyers can't complain, as under proper law, all of them have been committing treason by being part of a foreign title under the bar system. BAR means British Accreditation Registry, not American. And natural law and new ways of dealing with criminals has to be the way forward. The old system did not work. Come up with solutions of what can be applied in different organisations, of how a more, restorative justice can be applied. Because executing, lynching, putting them in jail for the rest of their life has not worked. It just hasn't. You know, you could come up with ironic justice, as I like to call it, because I would arrest all the pedophiles involved in the Epstein case and put them in the bunkers on Epstein Island. That is ironic justice. Maybe all the groups can come up with other solutions. Fiction becomes fact. Its mission, he said, is to protect the United States. My input. But lost in all of this is perspective. Black Lives Matter want to defund cops because they're all racist and violent against black people. But the irony is, Kamala Harris describes herself as a top cop despite not being one, whilst flip-flopping between statements of more cops than less cops. Now, recently we have highlighted, and we mentioned it earlier, about Operation Blackout. That was a 2019 exercise simulating sabotage of civilian infrastructure, terrorism and psychological operations against American citizens on the day of the US 2020 election. Final piece before the music break and the final part of tonight's show. I've been pleased to hear quite a few things this week. Positive things, and a whole heap of discord going on in the background as referenced earlier. But I wish to focus now on the pleasing things, as all the rest is nothing to do with our group or host. And 2 videos came to light in the past week. The Millie Weaver video and a video by Tamara Magdalena, both highlighting the dangers we first exposed in Clowns in Panic, but I've stated it in several of the shows about the dangers of technology. Now, this is not just about some fancy gadgets here and there. This is about altering our whole way of life. It will involve staggering loss of jobs, businesses, livelihoods, in which some cases is already underway. It will involve loss of income. Your class statuses will disappear, which is no bad thing, but it won't elevate all people into a higher status, but drag everyone into the gutter, just like the future world in the Continuum series. You think you have freedoms now. Well, we do in some cases, but overall not many. This new phase, which is the rise of the machine, will not only erode every single freedom, but will destroy life as we know it. Yes, Jim. Life as we know it. You will be watched, monitored and spied upon 24/7 with nowhere to run or hide. But the biggest issue is it will render humanity a spent force and dispensable, and people will become the pets of the machines with dire consequences for humanity. This is the main topic of discussion. Everything else on the internet or mainstream media becomes mute. In reality, the alt media is as bad as the mainstream media now. Distraction, drama, wig clubs, glitz and glam, he said, she said, divisive game playing, whilst the psychopaths charge on in the background with this technology. Now, the 2 main groups on the internet now, not in terms of numbers per se, but status, is the Q groups and the trusty Life Force group. What are they doing to stop this potential elimination of life as we know it? One guest says, let's all get chipped. The other says, join our group and download our tracking app. Is that not feeding this system of hidden disaster for humanity? And the fact that Kim controls an AI quantum system will eventually lead people to ask some questions. Is this really for our benefit? With statements like let's all get chipped and have fingerprints, facial recognition and tracking apps, I suspect that line of questioning will increase until more details and clarity is made available to the public than is currently being proffered. Now, Q won't even reference the Israel problem, never mind technology. But do you think all this data mining and these apps tracing, tracking and facial recognition are for our benefit? No. They have shown it in the movies and TV series. It is for the machines to recognize you in their database. Think Terminator. Think Continuum. It's all there, right in your face. I warned all people and jobs will get replaced by this machine culture. Yes, you, the Pentagon. Yes, you, generals of the military. Yes, you lot in Langley. And yes, you lot at the heads of banks, conglomerates and corporations. Yes, you, all politicians. Yes, you, mercenaries and private contractors. And yes, you, the police. All replaced by machines. Look around you. The evidence is all in your face. Do you all think you've got the golden ticket? That's the equivalent of jackasses, or carrots for jackasses and the RV. You, the police, were designated to be first for the chop with defunding. Why? Because you are members of the public with weapons is why. It's a disarming tactic. Defunding is the term for you. For the banks, it was decentralising. Are you getting the picture now? All of you will get replaced by this AI-based system. Placing D in front of a word is meaning down, off, away, from, among, down from. It means it is leaving or being removed. Next up, the term is decommission. Devaluation, relating to currency and lifestyles. Depopulate, dehumanize, deprogram, destabilize, decompress, demonize, destroy our whole lives and will become a de facto new reality. Our world will dematerialise into a cesspit of control with no freedoms, decaying cities, decaying lifestyles, decaying populaces and decaying soul development. What is human? What is life? What is love? Takes on a whole new meaning now, doesn't it? The question is, have you defined it? You can ignore it, which is another D word called denial, and no, that's not the river in Egypt, jackasses. Or face reality and call on all to end this abomination of humanity here and now. The question remains, is the deep state now or in the future a machine? Ponder on that.